Christian Beetz, the producer.
Hello.
And Danna Stern. And now we have a little trailer, which we would like to watch. You can start it now. Thank you.
So I have this one. Let's see.
הלו.
מה קורה מוץ'?
אנחנו פה עם עוד מלא חברים, הכל בסדר, אל תדאג רבה.
איך נקרא המקום שאתם נמצאים שם?
אני לא יודעת איך נקרא המקום. רעים.
איך?
רעים.
אתם ממש קרובים לעזה.
להסתתח על הרצועה, ידיים על הראש.
אשכרה, יורים עלינו טילים באמצע הסביבה.
הכל זה אפקטים, נא לא לדאוג.
אז היה אחוז שרמוטה.
יואו, אבל אנחנו לא רוצים למות עכשיו. למה דווקא עכשיו?
אללהו אכבר!
אבא ירום לי! אבא ירום לי! אבא ירום לי!
סע!
נכנסו לנו לבית, לנשמה, ללב.
So, yeah.
Thank you for watching.
This is a tough one. Maybe I start because I were asked if I could come on stage with this film that we did. Normally we don't do this kind of films. We are known for feature-length film, theatrical released films, and for films for streamers, where we at least need 2 to 3 years to make a film. This was something completely different because when October 7 happened, I think everybody of us were quite shocked. And as we doing a lot of films in this region, we did films about Gaza, we did films about Lebanon, we have a big network over there with many filmmakers. And of course, we called our friends in Israel and then said, what happened, you know? And we were quite shocked and we said, and they were quite shocked, and we said, we need to kick it off. And I said, the only thing what you couldn't do as a filmmaker, film, get out, you know, take your camera, get out, and let's work on that without knowing anything about what we're doing there, I have to be honest, in the first days. And then...
Or what was happening.
Or what's happening, you know, what's the background, you know, nothing. So we worked with Duki Dor, where we did already many films together, like Inside Mossad, a series, and so on, and feature-length films. And after 10 days, you know, we were filming and didn't know really, try to get access over there. We both met at the MIP in Cannes. It was only 10 days after. 7 October, we were running in each other and
Literally ran into
each other. And you were on your phone and tried to say, look at this, I'm collecting all this footage. I said, no, please, don't show me because I still want sleep. But I said, what's about, please help us, we need to build a team around, and it's a very complex thing, what we want to do. And you said you never, what were your first words to me?
Good luck to you, without me. And the reason we did physically run into each other, the reason I even went to MIP for 2 days was to moderate a panel. So I appreciate people who moderate panels. It's hard work.
Thank you so much.
But in all honesty, when you said to me, we're going to be announcing we're doing this film, I said, you're crazy, it's too soon, right? We're still in the middle of this. It's 10 days in. We don't even know what, you know, we don't know how many victims there are. We don't know enough about what's going on. How is this all going to land? And I kind of said, you know, I'm sure you'll do great, but without me. Long story short, we ended up on the flight together back to Berlin, which is where I now live, and you had me cornered for 2.5 hours, so I had no choice but to say yes. But I am very glad I did say yes. I'm a producer, and I've produced scripted, but also quite a bit of documentaries in my time, and I just didn't want the 2.5-year journey, the 3-year journey of going into this. And I think the idea of doing something quick, a little rough maybe, but certainly impactful, was appealing. And doing the longer version, the hour-long version in 2.5 months from start to air, and the short version Ve'alte in a month and a half.
Month and a half, yeah. It was quite quick. But when we met, we didn't know really what we're doing. We had no partner at all. We just said we have to kick it off and to film, and then on the way, let's find partners. And of course, we wanted to share with you some experience that we had. And also, we brought with us 3 other clips.
Yeah.
And then the good thing was that we have a very good relationship to ZDF Arte. Wolfgang Bergmann is over there. I'm seeing here, and he immediately said, yes, we are interested in it. And as we worked already together since 20 years, let's do an arterie, a reportage, which is also something what we normally don't do.
Right. Because the documentaries that you produce are those that try to give kind of context and are longestating, you know, look at a process over time, how things change, how perspectives change. And in this case, it's not really possible. This is instant documentation.
Which is challenging, yeah.
Which is very, very challenging. I mean, I can speak to, you know, some of the benefits of doing something like this quickly. And we can also look at a clip, but certainly the ability to document very raw emotions, very raw evidence, and events as they unfold gives you some kind of vulnerability and access, and also access to memories, which do change over time. Perspective changes over time, and you hear other people's stories that get blurred into yours. By doing something and capturing it so immediately, you also have a glimpse as far as there is at truth, at true feelings and emotions. I think that's one benefit.
Added material, of course. Should we?
Well, we can give an example of that. We saw a little in the trailer. I'm going to try not to move so much. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we have some technical issues.
I'm sorry.
Keep like this.
Okay, I'm not going to move. But in the big trailer, we saw a father, and we're going to see a little clip of that. And this was shot about 2 weeks after the incident. He didn't know if his kids were alive or dead at this point, and all he had was the last conversation that he had taped with them. So we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yep. Couple.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
לא יודע, איפה את?
אני לא יודעת, אבו הורג אותנו.
תתחברו, תמצאו מקום, תתחברו.
אבל אני יוצאת אותך, אנחנו בתוך הרכב, אי אפשר לצאת.
שלחי מיקום. אני בא, מאמי, שלחי מיקום, אלוהים.
שומע את איתי צועק שם.
I think you can see the rawness of what happened. We put a little postscript here for you, for anybody wondering what happened to the kids. They were released about 50 days after. But when we filmed this, we didn't know, he didn't know, we didn't know there'd be, for a lack of a better description, a good ending to this story. But this is something that if you go and document this after we know the result, is going to be completely different. Certainly there's value in that, but also I think the rawness of it, especially something that's unfolding that quickly.
I would like to ask, you guys were kind of embedded to the situation. How did you manage your own feelings, your film team? How did you ask for professional help? How did you tackle that?
We should.
We dealt differently with it, I think. I try to protect myself not to watch all the material which was shot by the Hamas, especially, because there were insane footage. You can't imagine, and you get traumatized by it, and you went through, right, and more or less. And this is also a kind of topic here, how to deal with this kind of filmmaking. If you have these different sources of material, this is, of course, that is something that we shot. We got access to the father through the director who were doing already a film about hostages, a series that he produced. So he had access to this kind of people. They trust him. But we, as you said, we didn't know where it leads to in the end. But we had also this propaganda material by the Hamas. We had for the very first time authentic material that people filmed themselves. And so it was very, very hard at this time. But I think we were all...
It's, I think we can show another clip that kind of shows the different angles of the same scene. Obviously in the film we took a little clip here, but it's one scene which we have from 3 different camera angles, one of which was just a stationary security camera outside the compound where the festival was, the Hamas's GoPro, and the victims themselves filming. And they kind of explain, as we'll now see, and we can talk a little bit about how we got those materials.
And the CCTV camera angle as well, yeah. Maybe we jump into this one.
אנחנו מסתובבות, מסתכלות אחורה, אנחנו רואות מחבלים עולים מהגבעה, נכנסות לשירותים, לתא, אנחנו סוגרות את הדלת, ואנחנו שומרות את הכל.
תא שירותים, מסריח. אין לנשום, אין לזוז. הם ירו בגובה ראש ואנחנו נשכבנו על הרצפה. לא מעניין אותך שום דבר, רק להתפלל הכי חזק שאפשר, שהם לא יפתחו את התא הזה, שהם את התא הזה לא פותחים ומוציאים אותנו משם.
I think this is very special that you have in this kind of events today a lot of different sources of material that it sounds ridiculous, but of course for filmmaking you could jump into different perspectives for telling a story, very emotional, but also you have to take care a lot how to use it, what you show, and also when I remembered right, we had a lot of discussions together with Arte, to say this is Hamas angle, this is an angle of people by themselves, this is a CCTV camera angle, to make it clear for an audience who's using what kind of material for what,
And also to realize that when you're carrying out an attack and you're filming yourself carrying it, and it's posted, and the Hamas material was posted on Telegram. A lot of the footage that was shot by the victims and survivors was posted that same day, some of it almost live, on TikTok and Instagram. And that's how we were following what was happening, and that's how we accessed a lot of this material. But it's important to note, and it was a conversation, do you show the perpetrator's material, which is aimed to terrorize others? I personally, and so do you, we don't believe in censorship. We don't believe by not showing things. There's things that we couldn't show that had to do with broadcast standards.
We did the censorship, I would say, because we didn't use this kind of material, so we tried to make it watchable.
To make it, yes, but both watchable. Also, it's blurred. But even then, there's things that usually will not pass. And the film has aired on public broadcasters in many, many countries. And there's certain guidelines that you have to abide by. And for example, we see an execution, and then they made sure the person was dead. So not only did they show him once, but they continued shooting. The other subsequent shots after the kill shots, we couldn't show because that's excessive violence. There's no real editorial value in that. There's no reason to make people at home go through it. So certainly we made those calls, and there's things that are just too horrendous to show, even blurred. But I think it is important to show what happened, even if you understand that you're giving, perpetrators a platform. Without it.
But it was a big debate. I think it was 24/7. We were on the phone, doing the editing, filming, editing at the same time, going through the material, have this kind of debate about what to show and what not, and also as a producer, I have to take care of my brother and me, especially my brother was in charge of this one, to take care also of the legal standards, because this was a completely different thing, to get access to the people, who were sharing their material on social media and going through the kind of standards, because in the end we brought this film to more than 40 different broadcasters with of course, legal standards as well, so not only moral standards.
Yeah, that's a big challenge for Arte and the redaction also.
And I think Arte helped a lot as they kicked off it as the first broadcaster who aired it, and 2 days after ZDF did it, and here in Germany, and then of course we were in discussions with many broadcasters, especially you called them, and they were also
called everybody.
Yeah, we called everybody. Of course, we were saying we do that. We will do it with you or without you. That's an offer. But of course, they came up the question: could we show it? Could we air it?
And when was the right time to show it?
Yeah,
exactly. So. Did you get many reactions from the audience, like from letters and mails and calls and even threats or something?
No, I have to say everywhere it's aired, and again, we keep saying this, it's aired in a lot of places. First of all, surprisingly, the ratings have been exceptionally high. I think there's a great curiosity, and what I was personally afraid of as somebody who also was a producer but was a buyer for many years, so I used to acquire and commission documentaries, as for people to say, oh, it's too soon, right? There's no, and because it's on the news all the time. Our news channels are showing all of this. Why would we need a documentary in the middle of an uncovering story? And the thing was, I was wrong, happily, because what had happened, because there was so much news coverage, because it was continuously being covered, and the events were just piling up every day in the region. There's something horrible happening every single moment, that people didn't really have time to understand what happened on October 7th, which was 22 different villages and kibbutzim and bases, and the party is just one of those 22 targets. What happened in generally, and then more specifically zooming in on this one event. So surprisingly, although it was covered, there wasn't a breadth and depth of time to really look at these events, and I think that's why the broadcasters that came on board were interested in bringing it forth, and the ratings, and to answer your questions, also the tweets, and most of it is Twitter by now, by the way, but most of the tweets and posts were shocked. It wasn't anger and it wasn't criticism, it was just a state of shock. A lot of the material that people just hadn't seen until that point, unless they were actively searching for it. I think this also raises a question of, why are people filming themselves when they're being attacked? I mean, their lives are being threatened, they're being shot at, they're being shelled, they're having grenades thrown at them. What is that instinct of taking your camera out and documenting it? And I think we have a little clip that answers that, and we can kind of...
They've answered this, but maybe one notice, these are only survivors, because there's tons of material of people who were killed. They go through the phones and the clouds right now, and it's a kind of process also that, if parents allow, to open up this footage or not, and it's a very complex thing. What we had, it was only material by survivors to be used.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are the people that only could actively post and share, while the victims' phones, those that were dead, are not yet accessed. So, but I think if we take a look at this next clip, this guy, he's 19 years old, his name is Noam, he's heavily also featured in the trailer, and I think he answers the question of why he was filming.
Himself, yeah.
נהיה שקט 10 דקות, זה הרגיש כמו נצח. אתה יודע, אנשים כאילו זחלו מתוך המיגונית, בחורה בלי רגל, זחלה מתוך המיגונית, רואה עושה שביל של דם ונעצרת.
בסדר, התקשרתי עכשיו לאח שלי, נמצא באזור אחר, התקשרתי עכשיו למישהו
שילמתי מהמון סיבות שרצו לי באותו רגע בראש. זה היה נראה לי הדבר הנכון לעשות. לא יודעת אם אני אצא גם מהמיגונית בחיים. צילמתי וישר שלחתי לאבא שלי את כל הסרטונים, את כל מה שצילמתי. שיהיה לו, שיראה מה עברתי לפחות. שיהיה עדות. כל רימון שמתפוצץ, אתה אומר, טוב, יאללה, רימון אהבה זה תורי. הייתי עם 3 כדורים ברגל, עוד מלא רסיסים שעפו עליי לירכיים. אתה מריח קקי, אתה מריח פיפי, אתה מריח מיצי קיבה של אנשים, ריח של קי מעורבב עם דם, מעורבב עם אבק שריפה, המזל שלי זה שכנראה הם חשבו שכולם מתים שם, כי אני שכבתי על הרצפה כזה ולא זזתי. הבנתי שאני לא יוצא מזה בחיים.
במיגונית שהייתה ממולנו, שהחברים שלי היו בה, מחבלים זרקו 2 רימוני רסס לבפנים.
הם פשוט זרקו רימונים לבפנים, רימוני רסס. ואנשים התפוצצו שם באוויר, כאילו.
Yeah. So, he's 19 years old. Of course, he's 19 years old. Of course, he's filming everything. And I think most of the people at the party were that age, or, in their very early 20s. They live their lives on social media. They film themselves and everything they do. They post, they share, they film, and I think this is the direct result of that. And also to keep as evidence, to keep as a memento, and to let people know what really, really happened. And I'm curious, as now people become kind of self-documentarians, right, with technology being so accessible and we have access to platforms now where we can, tell the stories of our own lives, how do you see that changing documentaries and the type of work that you're doing?
I think in the future we will see more of this, this kind of mixture of material. People do them, shooting for kind of propaganda purpose. Others filming themselves, using these clips on social media. And I think for us, still as documentary filmmakers, there's a lot to do to bring all these angles together and to sort it out, and deal with it quite a lot of responsibility, and but it's very tense if you see this kind of different angles and authentic material. It's very tense. To say.
It's a whole new. Anyone here working in documentaries, you kind of know, visual archivists and their work and the usual visual archives that you go to when you need footage or if you need to recreate. And I would say the way we found a lot of this footage was really just hashtags, just trying to go in social media, put in the correct hashtags and kind of follow almost detective-like to the source and then go back to the people who were filming themselves and posting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Danna and Christian, for sharing your experiences and your feelings and your view.
And if you want to watch,
it's so still at the Mediathek at Arte, and a 30-minute version. There's a slightly shorter version on ZDF, Auslandsreportage, and we are working on an updated version because we did this kind of film in 5 weeks, and we have to updated version right now with the right numbers, different angles, and so on. So we're working for the anniversary on the longer perspective, on this, what happened then.
Thank you very much, Christian and Danna, for coming. A warm applause, please, to the both producers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.